All right. Welcome back. I don't know what happened. Restream is just odd. I kicked off tonight's stream, and I don't know exactly what happened other than Restream informed me that the stream had ended. So hopefully you've all made your way on back. Yes, Maza, this is for real now. So that's the power of notifications. Before we get started, if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button. Hopefully today's the day I earn your subscription if I haven't already. And also, if you could, hit that like button because it helps me out in the algorithm. And I want to get this channel growing and moving. So be a friend. Tell a friend if you got anybody in your life that's into collecting. Let them know I exist so they can come over here and be part of the conversation. And if you're watching me here live on YouTube, pop into that live chat over there. We've got a whole bunch of cool people hanging out with us already, even after that blip, even after that restream blip that took me off for just a minute. Got people coming back in. So don't just subscribe, ring that notification bell so you can get alerted if something like this happens on a live. Anyway, it's Tuesday, it's 9 o'clock, and it's time for 0 Hour. So thanks for joining me tonight. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Some sad news, some fun news, but a lot of cool news too. So before we get into it, I want to go ahead and share my figure of the week. We're going to start on I'm not going to go into whole Casey Kasem mode. If you know what I'm talking about with Casey Kasem, there's a very famous video freak out where he gets upset about going from an up-tempo moment to a down-tempo moment. And I'm going to do it because fuck it, why not? My figure of the week is the Legacy Dreadwing. And there's a good reason for that. So this is an awesome figure. I've loved the fact that throughout Legacy, we've gotten homages and proper homages to Prime characters. And this was one of the best characters in Transformers Prime. Dreadwing was a very multi-layered, complex character. He was a very... I guess I don't want to say he was a misunderstood Decepticon, but he definitely had his principles, and he was brought to life by the incredible actor Tony Todd. Anybody who's a fan of horror knows this guy. If you're a fan of Candyman, you have to know the man. Phenomenal actor, and unfortunately, he died this week on the 8th. He was having a private battle with liver cancer. Tony lent his voice not only to Transformers Prime, but he also was the Fallen in the Revenge of the Fallen movie. So the Fallen wasn't necessarily, he didn't get the most screen time, unfortunately, and he didn't get a lot of character development, but dude had an iconic voice, very iconic voice. And just such a presence, man, in that movie, but more incredibly in Transformers Prime. Just if you haven't seen Transformers Prime, I see we got Maz in here saying they're doing watch parties for Prime. It's a phenomenal show, and it was an amazing reunion for Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. It had great storylines, human characters that were actually fun and interesting, and it's just was rounded out by a phenomenal voice cast. You had Tony Todd, you had Nolan North, Steve Blum. So if you've never seen Transformers Prime, I highly recommend giving it a watch. Oh, also Clancy Brown's character Silas, man, that what a plot line there, with what happens with him and Breakdown. It also introduced the character Arachnid, who was in Transformers 1, albeit she was a little bit different, but that was her debut. And the Viacons, too, like what they did with the Viacons. There's Transformers Prime references in Transformers 1, so I loved it. But, man, Tony Todd, 69, is way too young. He will be missed. Prayers to his family, man. It just, phenomenal actor, and I can't say anything bad about the guy. Let's check in on chat. So we got Mazza hanging out. I see we've got Deceptizars then hanging out saying, did we reboot? Yes, we did reboot. I don't know what happened. I was streaming and I was doing the normal intro, and all of a sudden I got an alert from Restream saying the stream ended abruptly and no other info. So yeah. Venombyte saying RIP Tony Todd. Yep, Fallen in Dreadwing. We've got Deceptizars Den saying hello again, Jeffs. And we've also got Winston hanging out here saying, "What's up, Zero?" And everyone in the chat, good to see you, Winston. I'm sad I didn't see you at TFCon. Were you there this year? I was Vault Matrix and I were both looking around for you. But yeah, man. Let's get into some more upbeat news. Let's start off with TFCon. Let's keep the convention news going. So TFCon Baltimore ended, and we know that the next fall show is going to be in Chicago. Not too many people are happy about that. Friends that have gone have said it's not the best venue and it's kind of disconnected, and there's debate whether, who's going. Peter Cullen's going to be the thing for me. Like, apparently he's not going to do anything else on the East Coast, and I'm hoping and praying that his health stays well, not only just because I want to meet him, but also too, I want to see him live a good long life. He deserves it. So I think, though, if he is announcing he's going to be at a TFCon, I'm going to make it a point to go. My buddy Lance, and actually shout out to Lance. He is going to be doing a stream with me on Thursday. So I'll be back Thursday this week to do another stream with him. I think we've got all his audio stuff figured out. But he lives in the California area in Vacaville. And, he's saying, like, if Cullen's at LA, he could, I could go out there and room with him for a bit. So I'm thinking about it. It all depends on timing. But we know that TFCon LA is happening next March. They've posted it up on the website. Tickets are on sale now. And it's going to be the 7th through the 9th. And it's going to be celebrating the 15th anniversary of Transformers Prime and the 10th anniversary of Robots in Disguise. Man, time has flown by. I can't believe Prime is 10 years old. I'm sorry, 15 years old, and Robots in Disguise is 10 years old. In addition to that, we've also got the dates for TFCon Toronto. That's going to be happening July 11th through the 13th. And I don't think that they've announced anything, guest-wise for that. They do have one guest announcement. It's going to be Danny Mann. No, wait, I'm sorry. No, they don't have any guest announced. So let me take that back. And so we don't have any guest details yet, but I'm sure that'll be coming in the coming months, because we're, crazy to say, 5 months away. And yeah, okay. So Winston, you weren't at TFCon. I hope she did well in the tournament. But yeah, we were definitely looking for you. And not to mention TFCon. We've also got NJCC coming up for anybody on the East Coast. That's going to be this month, November 23rd. Up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Now, this convention is more of like a dealer convention. If you're looking for, people bringing products and selling their parts of their collection or different vendors, this is the place to do it. They don't really have panels, from what I understand. It's really just more of a merch convention. But they do door prizes. They do fun stuff at the con. And it's not too expensive to get in. So early bird admissions $20 and general admissions $10 for the Saturday. It's if you're up in that area, I think it's you can't really go wrong. The door prizes tend to be pretty substantial. I think they have announced them. So yeah, the full door prize list. They got the Geek Tikis. They have both Transformers and G.I. Joe varieties. They have a Megatron Hiss Tank they're giving away, a Studio Series Coronation Starscream, some of the Black Series figures. You can get the Boba Fett and Obi-Wan, Storm Shadow, and then you get to their Mega Door prize. They're giving away a Bat Army Builder Pack. So definitely some substantial stuff. And if you just want to go for the day and see if you'll win a prize, man, it can't go wrong. Plus, it's just cool to see all the vendors out and about with their different booths and all. I've seen various people, their footage from the con, and it's just, it's kind of like just being in the dealer room at TFCon all day. So cool stuff. Hey, Tris, good to see you in here. And so, if you wanted to get one more convention in and you're in the East Coast, good opportunity there. Other good news. This comes from the National Museum of Play. Now, there has for a long time been a Toy Hall of Fame, and finally, after 40 years, Transformers has been inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame. So here they go into a little bit of history. I'm surprised this hasn't happened sooner. But yeah, they are finally putting in G1, and part of what they're going to be highlighting in there is some of the additional merch that came along with it. I'm surprised it's taken this long, but still very cool to see, especially in the 40th anniversary of the franchise. So, positive news there. Now let's get into the toy news, man. So now from Studio Series, and we saw this coming from JT Prime 17 had said that Devastation was getting toys. And, Hasbro does their Studio Series Gamerverse stuff. Obviously, they've got the new packaging now, so we get a look at the Devastation Deluxe Optimus Prime. And, this is definitely interesting. I'm hopeful. Now, we've got Mazza in the chat. I'm part of the Gronking on Dogs podcast, the Gronking Gaming podcast. We're all fans of the Transformers games. And as far as I know, those guys haven't played Devastation. So, I've been wondering, we've got Transformers Rise / Reactivate merch that came out early. I mean, that game hopefully is still coming out. I hope Splash Damage finishes it. And I more importantly hope it's good. But we're getting War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and now Devastation figures. But where are those games? Now, Microsoft bought Activision, as many of you know. And it's been interesting to keep an eye on it because the games have been relisted on the Microsoft Store. They've been relisted on Steam, but you can't purchase them. Now, the three great games being War for Cybertron, Fall for Cybertron, and Devastation were all published by Activision. And Hasbro's putting out their, so much merch for those games, but you can't buy the games anymore because they got delisted because they were licensed. So this makes me hopeful that Devastation will also be getting relisted in the near future. I mean, why else would they be pushing merch for products that you can't buy? It would be senseless to say, hey, years after the fact, we're releasing figures for a series that you can't conventionally buy. And, as people are moving to digital, there's no way to get these on digital unless you're paying out the ass for product keys on probably less than legit key sites. But yeah, we get a look at this Deluxe Optimus Prime. Now, I don't think this looks very good, to be honest with you. You can see he's got a lot of waffling going on in the thighs. I like the fact they did the cell shaded windows. I think it's good that this exists because, look, if you're a younger fan and you just want a good looking standard generic Optimus Prime, this is a good opportunity. If you're collecting for video games and you're not necessarily a Transformers fan, but you say, hey, I love this game and I want Optimus Prime from that game, boom, there you go. If you just are an Optimus Prime collector too, that's a good opportunity. He comes with the Energon Axe and a Matrix. He doesn't come with an Ion Blaster, which I find a little bit peculiar. Granted, he did use the axe quite a bit in the game, and I like that they did like that swishing effect. Wish they would have done it in clear plastic, but there's probably no clear plastic on the sprue. But I mean, this is a meh looking Optimus, but I'm sure there are people out there that would want it. I think it has its place, and more importantly, it gives me hope that Devastation is going to get reissued because I have it on PlayStation 4. I would love to have it on my PC. I'd love to be able to play it there and mod it and have fun with it. It's an awesome game all around. So, yeah, is anybody interested in getting this Prime? Again, this one's going to be a pass for me, but I still think it's cool that it exists. And I know it's going to have its fans. And, I wish my nephew was a little bit older because I'd love to pick up like my first Optimus for him. Yeah, maybe I'll get one and hang on to it for him so he can have like a proper Optimus that's kind of on the simpler side. So not only do we have that coming out of Studio Series, but we also have Sentinel Prime coming out. So we get some of the stock photos, the Transformers 1 Voyager class Sentinel Prime. I still want to know how this mask gimmick works on him. Because it doesn't look like it's a replacement part. It looks like the mask is actually gonna, I guess it's probably gonna swap, go behind his head. But no actual release date, just an in-package picture. And I do really like this new packaging. I like the cohesion for the Studio Series. I like the fact we're getting windowed boxes again. And, I really like the layout that shows you the character and the alt mode on the front. I was talking to T-Man about this, and he's not a fan of the, all the steps and all this information being on the front. I don't mind it, but I think it's pretty cool. I also like the inlays in the boxes. I don't think that those stages were necessary, the cardboard stages. Now, I know those do have their fans, and somebody's even 3D printing brackets so you can clip them all together. So I'm sure somebody will be upset that those are going away, but I just thought they were unnecessary, and I'd rather take those away and put more budget into the toys. So, Decepticons Den says, the good postman just delivered 2 boxes of Kyo TF1 collectible cards to your door. I enjoy those. That's awesome. So, let's get into some different stuff here. So, this one, for all the Beast Wars, again, like, I'm not a Funko Pop collector. I know a lot of people in the fandom aren't, but then there are some that are. So, for Beast Wars fans and for those that collect Funko Pops, they might be interested in this. There were Beast Wars Funko Pops that came out, but originally they were NFTs. I saw the Cheetor that they had originally, but we are getting new Beast Wars Funko Pops. We're getting an Optimus Primal, a Megatron, a Rhinox, and Black Arachnia. This is still a rumor per se, but typically when this stuff gets leaked, it does come out. And I'm hoping for those that do collect, they can get them without having to get NFTs, because it's just so unnecessary. It is a shame though that the Funko Fusion game was a flop, because had they added Beast Wars to that, or Transformers in general, I might have been a little interested. I was a little interested because they added Mega Man, but yeah, apparently that game just flopped. When it's a few bucks on PC, I might check it out there. But and who knows, maybe people will mod that sort of stuff in. This one, speaking of Blast from the Past, they used to have a series like this, and I can't remember what it was called, but it seems like Hasbro's going back to the drawing board, and it was like Change Ups or something, but they're calling these Mix Mashers, and they have a bunch of them for Transformers. But the whole point is these are kind of like, think of like Power Masters. They're non-transforming chunky action figures. These are totally meant for kids, but a neat concept nonetheless, where you get a posable figure that you can pop parts off and turn it into whatever you want it to be. And here we're seeing they're doing kind of like a evergreen Bumblebee, and these are going to come with different weapon parts, so you can make whatever you want. And here you can see he's mixed up with Starscream parts, Optimus Primal. And again, these are not for adult collectors. However, it's cool to see Beast Wars getting more love. And if you've got a kid in your life that you want to get interested in Transformers, this might be a good opportunity to get them a chunky, durable action figure that they can do all sorts of fun stuff with. Like, see here, you can make Lieutenant Dan Megatron, and lots of accessories in here to boot. I just think these are fun. I think they're fun. Like, I'd love to give a couple of these to my nephew, see what he does with them, and also knowing that they're thick, durable, chunky figures that he can just bash around and have fun with. So yeah, I think these are slated to come out next year. But yeah, definitely. It's paining me. If anybody in the chat knows what those things were called, because they were everywhere. They were everywhere back like 10 years ago, and I keep thinking they were called. Were they mix and match? I can't remember, but yeah, it's literally on the tip of my tongue what those things are called, and I thought they were a cool concept. They just weren't detailed or painted right, and here it looks like you're getting the paint and the proper detail. It's looking like they actually did these things right. I just hope that those clips that they use for the thighs and the elbows are good. So we shall see. Another one, we got an in-package photo of the Fleet Track Ultra Magnus. So if you're a Hot Wheels collector and you're looking for some Transformers, that one's coming out real soon, and he shouldn't be controversial like the Barricade. This is also the case breakdown, and yes, this is going to be a die-cast one. So neat to see there. And lastly, on the obscure news, I don't know anybody that's really... Oh, Mashables. I think they were Mashables. Thank you, Deceptizar. But yeah, and also, too, these mix and match, they are doing Marvel as well. So I won't be shocked if they do G.I. Joe and some other brands. But they were line compatible. So it was definitely a neat line that never really took off. Or a neat concept that never really took off because... those old figures, the sculpting wasn't there, but those mix and match figures, they look pretty good. I have to say, not for me, but I think they might fare a little bit more successfully, especially if they're mass retail. Amazon Japan has listings for the Godzilla Transformers crossover. Now, I don't think Japan does crossovers as well as the US does. That being said, for anybody wanting the Megatron Godzilla, it's regular retail over on Amazon Japan, so he's regular leader class price, $55 to import it. I do know I think Firetox is interested in the Grimlock Megatron Godzilla. I think this is the only interesting one. I wish they had done more with it, but it is what it is. And again, just because it exists doesn't mean you have to buy it. I wish they'd given him a fusion cannon some way, some shape, somehow. I'm sure DNA Designs will probably kit these up. But yeah, blast effect with him, which is kind of cool. And, it's cool that he at least has something that kind of makes him resemble Godzilla. Mechagodzilla Prime does not fare as well. This was a silly choice. Even as a Prime collector, I have no interest. This mold's been done to death, and nothing about this just says Mechagodzilla to me, other than the fact that they literally put Mechagodzilla on his right chest plate. But they exist. I'm glad that they exist for those that want them, and they aren't breaking the bank. Again, regular leader class price as imports. I'm sure these will probably go on clearance. But they exist, and they're up for pre-order if you're interested. Now we get into some interesting stuff. This comes from Baidu, and we get an early look at a partial test shot for Prima Prime from the Age of Primes line. Hey, Princeton, good to see you, man. And this is looking interesting. So I'm kind of curious what this is going to transform into. You got what looks to be kind of like a truck windshield. Now, if I'm not mistaken, some wheels in here. I could definitely see this chest being reused for a Thunderwing. I'm going to be curious to see what the head sculpt looks like. Now, again, being a test shot, these likely are not the colors that it's going to be molded in. And, again, it doesn't look like any other accessories or armor bits are here. But at least we're seeing stuff moving along with Age of Primes, and it's going to be interesting to see what this comes with. So Prima Prime in the comics, depending on what continuity, had the Star Saber Sword and the Matrix of leadership in its hilt. I know MMC did that thing to death. So it'll be interesting to see if they do that here. The alt mode definitely will be interesting because it looks like it's going to be maybe a truck. I think the last time they did a Prime to Prime toy, they retooled the Protoform Optimus. Oh no! That was they did that little. They did the Titan, the little Titan Master for Prima. Granted, I mean, do you really count those? But I'm really curious to see what these primes are going to look like, and yeah. Definitely headless. I'm hoping they go with like a more G1 style head, but I don't know. I think if they were going to do that, they probably would have. They might have retooled a Studio Series Junkion. So I'm thinking this is going to be more like a comic deco. It's really hard to say, but yeah. And Deceptizar Dan also saying there's a trash loves Japanese. Yeah, they should have done. Going back to that, go back to it real quick. I still think they should have done Studio Series movie, the Studio Series movie Megatron. I'm sorry, not Megatron. Studio Series movie Grimlock as a Godzilla, resculpted the head into like more of a Megatron thing, and then resculpted the little I guess I don't know, the wrecking ball hand into like a fusion cannon would have been neat. So yeah, missed opportunity. And then they could have done the Studio Series Grimlock as Mechagodzilla, giving him a little retool in the head, giving him an Optimus Prime head, called it a day. Would have been far more successful. Just give him the Prime Ion Blaster or something. I think they could have done it way better. But yeah, so we get. Hey, we got my boy Stunning Brave Megatron saying looks like the Align mixed with Marvel Comics Prime. Yeah, I'm seeing it. And we've got Ultra Megatronus hanging out saying, what's up? Good to see you in here. And also saying, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, but disappointed with them all. I think that's the general consensus. Wouldn't it be cool, though, if Hasbro just does their own Godzilla crossover and blows this out of the water? Because they have the opportunity, and Hasbro's been going hard on the crossover. So it could happen. But let's get back to Prime of Prime. Yeah, again, we'll be seeing more of this, I'm sure. I'm sure somebody will get the head and we'll start seeing transformed photos in the coming days, if not weeks. But I think Age of the Primes has been shaping up pretty good from what I've seen so far. And then did we cover everything there? I think we did. Last thing in official news is a really interesting statue coming from Prime 1 Studio. This is called Megatron Overlord and Optimus Prime by Josh Nizzi. There's a whole video debuting this. Lots of pieces in this statue. It's one of those statues, from what I understand, you get it, you put it together, and you get this very, very imposing looking Megatron, like Megatron on roids. I don't know if I can, let's zoom in on this. But I like this design for Megatron. He's got a cape, a scythe. He's got a big, badass fusion cannon with wires hanging out of it. I could see statue collectors going nuts over this. And yeah, I sometimes I wish I was a statue collector because they get some cool pieces, but I like posing my figures too much. And again, he's got this really cool looking Optimus Prime. I think this was on display at one of the last Comic Cons. I think I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, the one that has the Jetwing that pops on. But yeah, calling it Transformers Age of Overlord. I'd love to see somebody take those designs and put them like third party, get on it, make those into toys, because these designs are really cool. I'd love to see some, He-Man proportioned Transformers. And on that topic, man, like as much as He-Man has been doing its crossovers, I won't be shocked if we don't see He-Man and Skeletor crossovers for Transformers in 2025. So let's get into our third-party stuff. Man, there's a bit to cover, and I think when you come off of TFCon, we always kind of get spoiled with, man, there's a lot of news, and then it all just kind of fizzles out. So we don't have all that much, but we do have some cool stuff. So let's start off with Dr. Wu, or as my boy Deluxe calls him, Dr. Woo Woo Woo, and this is certainly one that I wasn't expecting. So I'm not sure how these scale, whether or not they're really going to be legend, like that small Legends class, or if they're going to fit in like your Legacy Soundwave or Blaster. But so this is G1 Decibel, and that tape set split up into two cassettes, Graphy and Noise. They're calling it Impact Wave, and just very standard, fair-looking cassettes. And you get a T-Rex mode, and you get a pterodactyl mode, or I guess it's a pterodactyl, and they combine up into this cool-looking articulated bot. So I don't know if anybody collects these. Let me know if they scale with like Legacy, or if they're really meant more so for. I wish Deluxe was here, because he would likely know whether these scale with Legacy or if they're Legend scale. Because Dr. Wu does some tiny figures. Let's go over to DNA Designs. They got their page here, and they've got a really cool set coming out for Dino King, and this set, I am getting this set. So this is going to make your Dino King look way more like he did in G1. And it's also going to add some height to him. So you're getting additions to the feet. You're getting new forearms. Let's go back a step. Getting new forearms. Even though the forearms that came with them were pretty good, you're getting new pieces for the T-Rex. I am terrible with the Japanese names. I think it's Ganryu. You're getting individual swords and guns, and you're getting new crotch plates and filler pieces. And man, this set just looks awesome. And of course, you can build out a bigger scythe, and he's going to hold together better. In addition to, and man, I really like the way that head upgrade looks. I wish they had done all this in gold. I mean, this was a PulseCon exclusive. They should have done the whole thing in gold. But this is just looking absolutely sick. And this is a set that I rarely get DNA design kits. And yeah, if you're not using the parts, you can build them into a little base of displayage, as MGO says. But yeah, this just improves the robot mode substantially, and he's going to look so much better standing next to Overlord. I'm not Overlord, Desaurus. But there you go. You can see how those new pieces for the T-Rex mode work. Hopefully that locks. They figured out a way to lock that knee in place. Sips are saying, believe they are legacy scaled. And yeah, you get that neat gun mode. And there he is with their Volcanicus set. If you one of those two to square off against one another. I thought about getting that Volcanicus set while I was at TFCon, and I just didn't pull the trigger. I wish I had, knowing that this was coming out. Yeah, I got a birthday coming up, so can always add that. We get a little teaser. Silhouettes are back, and they're doing upgrade kits for the Studio Series Megatron and Optimus Prime from Transformers 1, so that's cool. Looking forward to seeing what comes of that. And the more exciting one is the upgrade kit coming for Vector Prime. I am hoping this has the Minicon, but it looks like off the cuff we're getting new shoulder bits and definitely upgraded wings cape piece. And it looks like there's a sword sticking out there. So I'm curious if they're going to add to the existing sword, or knowing DNA, they're probably just going to outright give him a brand new one. I'm sure we'll get new shin parts for him as well to cover up the G-Haxis details. But cool stuff coming from DNA. Then over on Third Party Unlimited. So we just saw Broadside. This is coming from O1 Studios. Studio sells Zeta Toys, whatever you want to call them. They showed off their Broadside, and we were all having a good laugh at the jet mode. Like the robot mode and the aircraft carrier mode were so successful, but the jet mode, it just is like, what the heck happened? Now, there were a lot of people arguing, yeah, the jet mode on the G1 toy was never that great. And they're right, but I think this revised design so much better. It increased my hype level for this figure. I can't wait to finally get Broadside. He's like one of the few left on my G1 checklist, the character I need representation for. So cool that we're getting that. And also they showed off the new aircraft carrier, the revised design. They showed a different angle. I really can't tell what they changed here other than, the new nose cone designs. You see the nose cone there where it was all red there. Maybe the thought was, well, we're going to make a more cohesive aircraft carrier. But I think most people are going to look at it at like this angle. And here, this doesn't look bad. So, and yeah, I agree that, triple changers always have one mode. So Decepticons then saying looks much better. Well, as much as the G1 jet can look, and triple changers always have that one mode that gets the short end of the stick. It's just, unless you're Springer, chances are Springer and Astro Chain are kind of like the exceptions to the rule, and sometimes Octane. I think I said that on here before, but here definitely marked improvement. And again, I don't think anybody's going to be looking at an aircraft carrier from this angle, or is really going to care. I don't think that changing that nose cone takes away from the aircraft carrier at all. And had they just shown it with this design from that angle, legitimately everybody would have been just as excited. So I cannot wait for this figure. And I'm excited to see what else O1 Studio does. Because they like Fans Hobby, they've been a good company for staying in their lane and doing stuff that nobody else is doing or thought to do. I mean, you could say, well, Raiden and Unicron, but as far as third-party offerings. Like, they've given us Primus, they've given us a proper scale Raiden and combined mode. I will die on the hill that I like the individual train bots from Takara Tomy. I know that's a hot take and an unpopular opinion, but I like them. Yeah, this is probably my most anticipated figure of 2025 so far. Then we get into another figure I'm very highly anticipating. So I talked about this coming out of TFCon. Pake for Life told me that they are planning on finishing the MMC Defensor. We should be getting their Groove any day now. He should be getting solicited for sale. But their blades at TFCon, he was basically done. Pake had one that was a pre-production sample, and this is from their Weibo page saying that the order will be cut on December 20th. So they're trying to get him out before the end of the year. We probably won't get him in the States until the first couple weeks of 2025, but I cannot wait to get him. I can't wait to finally have a complete team of Protectobots. It's like one of the combiner teams I've been wanting for so long. And I hope X-Transbots just finishes there, because I've been going with X-Transbots for my combined Defensor. So, granted, I mean, that hotspot, I'm going to be doing a top 10 or a couple top 10s. I'm going to be doing top 10 mainline, top 10 third party, and I will spoil things. Right now, the hotspot is my number one in the top 10s for 2024. So this set's just been awesome all around. Can't wait to get blades. I can't wait to have a complete team of Protectobots on the shelf. And yeah, Decepticon, I'm going to be keeping mine in robot mode. He's going to be a big boy, so I'm trying to figure out what shelf he's going to go on. I'm probably going to have him opposite of Skyfire, just because how the shelf's adjusted. But mine's going to primarily be in robot mode. But I'm just hoping he's fun to transform, because he looks pretty simple. Moving on, we get the next release coming from Kang Toys. This is their Bronta Solid, which is their take on a hyper stylized Sludge. And these things definitely have a Zoids aesthetic going on. They're different. I think this is the first time we've seen Sludge where so many of the dinosaur parts are just hanging off of him. You got the Brontosaur head and tail coming off of his back. Of course, they can be arranged however you want. I've said multiple times that these designs don't really do it for me. I like the fact that there's something different, and I won't be shocked if they try and repurpose this into their own Dino King. I think if they had done this as Dino King off the cuff, I think a lot more people would be interested. Though, personally, I want a more G1 stylized Dino King. I know there was the one that already came out. I can't remember if that was Perfect Effect or not, but I would definitely like something that's not stylized, leans more on tune. But I know there's a lot of people that like these, and if you're getting Dreamstar and Kang, having seen some of these things in person at TFCon, they are awesome display pieces. And for the people that like that hyper stylized stuff, more like the statue designs, I mean, options are good. It's awesome that these exist. Not hating on it. The Dino mode is definitely cool. I can definitely see them getting a Dino King out of this. There you get the Shin mode, very clean. But yeah, cool stuff coming from Kang. And let's see here. Did I have? I think that's actually everything that I had on the docket. So, yeah. As I mentioned, moving out of TFCon, just kind of blow through any news. So I guess we'll talk about the channel a little bit. So I am behind on my vlog. I've got the vlog cooking. I want to have it up this week. I know I said that last week, but I was on call for work. Just had a bunch of stuff popping up. Got an editing gig I'm working on, but I'm going to get the vlog out this week. And we'll be back here again on Thursday with Lance. I don't know whether we're going to be doing the Armada ranking, or we're just going to talk about TFCons in general and what his experience was coming to the East Coast for it. He's been to the East Coast a few times now, so haven't quite figured out what we're going to be talking about on Thursday, but it should be a fun and somewhat chaotic show. So hopefully you all will tune in for that one. In addition to that, yes, I am still working on the Extrospective, man. I've been dragging my feet on that. I apologize, but been busy. Life has happened. I still plan on getting that content out. I think for the vlog, that'll be a little bit easier because what I'll be doing there is I'm just going to be putting my footage together, and I'm mostly going to be doing a voiceover. So it'll be the footage I have. A lot of it'll be kind of like, yeah, not muted, but tuned down a bit, and we'll be getting just a voiceover on the parts. Except when we got some of the folks like the Con Bros, I got some footage with Patriot Prime, with Fire Tox, with Rodimus Primal. So that'll be a lot of fun to get up on the channel, and I hope everybody enjoys seeing. I feel bad because like so many of the other guys have got their vlogs up like that, and I'm like, I got so much footage on my phone, I got to get it on my PC, and I've been dealing with life stuff, and also been, I won't lie, I've been slightly addicted to the Silent Hill 2 remake. So yeah, I'm gonna get that vlog out finally. And then also we're gonna be having some guests coming on the show. I'm working on getting guests. I might have a fun one for next Tuesday. He's checking his calendars. I don't want to put him out there to see if he's gonna be able to hop on or not. We got Ultra Megatronus in the chat. I hit him up. We're gonna try and work something out to get him on. Deluxe will be back as a reoccurring, and to see if we can get maybe like some of the other Con Bros to come on, because I'd love to have more like a little interview segment on these live streams. So what do you think? What do you want to see on the live streams aside from news? Because I want to get some more discussion stuff. But coming out the week of TFCon, it gets a little challenging because there's really not all that much. And as much as it's sad to that Tony Todd has passed, I don't want to have too much spend too much time on sad stories, because we want to talk about the fun stuff here, stuff that keeps us engaged in the hobby. Though again, I want to thank Mr. Todd for all of his contributions to acting and to his contributions to Transformers, and he will be very much missed. With that, I guess it's a good place to wrap it up for the night. And the last couple shows went a little long. We've tried to keep it in and around an hour here, but going to be a little bit of a shorter show. So check the link in the description. I've got my link tree, also doing stuff with Gronking on Dogs. If you're interested in fun gaming content that focuses on gaming and is showing you stuff that you might not be aware of, check out Gronking on Dogs. We do some cool stuff over there. I've got some videos I'm cooking up for Mr. Mazza, who was in the chat earlier. He's doing a lot with Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, Zombies. We're putting together some fun Let's Play clips and compilations. So there's a lot of stuff to check out over there. And also, too, I do a paranormal show that I'll be adding to the link tree, Late Nights with Cap. I go in there once a month, and we try and pick some fun stories that are horror related. So there's a lot more to Transformers on my end, but I do plan on doing a lot more evergreen content over here. I'm going to get the vlog out this week. I'm going to promise you on that one. And also, we're doing a Thursday show. The Thursday show will probably be at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, before I wrap up, I do want to shout out my good buddy Mike. You know him as Junkie on Crafts and Builds. He had a 1,000 subscriber celebration on his channel last night. So, if you're not already, go ahead and check out Junkie on Crafts and Builds over on YouTube. He's been in the chat before, and just all around awesome dude. Mike's a great guy and a great friend. There's his video that he did. He had a lot of guests. I unfortunately couldn't make it last night, but he had a really successful stream with giveaways. He does a lot with diorama building. He does a lot with military figures. So if you're looking for unique content that's not just Transformers, but all kinds of action figure collecting, go ahead and give him a check out on his channel, Junkie on Crafts and Builds. And yeah. Oh, yeah, Princeton, I can easily get T. So T is one of my IRL best friends, and I'm sure I could get TM reviews on here. Sony's a good friend of mine. So, and I had a good time talking to Sony again at TFCon, as well as Pake. I'm sure I could get Pake for life on here. So, yeah. If you're watching me on the post show, let me know. Is there anybody you want to see come on for an interview? Drop some suggestions, drop some links. I'm always open to getting anybody on here to talk about Transformers and have some fun discussions. I love the shows I do with Deluxe, and I'm looking forward to having him back on in the near future. So with that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next, well, I was going to say next week, but till Thursday, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out, bye-bye, and have a good one. I say that, and Restream has failed again. All right, let's try it. Let's try the proper outro since Restream has I plan on switching back over to StreamYard.